Travel vloggers, a staple of the YouTube community. These people have been around since almost the conception of social media aesthetics. And some may even say they're the original "my life is better than yours" influencers. I mean, think back for a second. Think orange and teal. Think tan bodies, blonde hair, no care. That's probably a caption they would use on their oversaturated Instagram pictures. Or something like, living life like a butter knife. What does that even mean? You want to live life like the most dull version of a knife? A knife that can't even cut through bread? I personally would want to live life like a chef's knife, but hey, that's just me. And you're just you. The average person, maybe going to school, maybe working, and you watch these mainly white people traveling to foreign countries, exploiting often third world countries, all to get that pretty Instagram picture just to make you feel like shit at your 9-to-5 job, while these trust fund babies are off experiencing the world. But what if I told you there was a different kind of travel influencer? One that was more real, more honest. I mean, bare bones. No color grading to make the water look more blue or their skin more tan. No over-dramatizing the experience. If they have something negative to say, they will say it. Because hey, he's American. And Americans can do whatever the we want. Finally, someone is providing a truthful perspective on these countries. What no one tells you about Japan. Smoking that gas on Vietnam's Communist Express. How dangerous is Iraq for Americans? Real life Titanic in India. Look, he went to India. How long till I get food poisoning in India? India's train ride from hell. India sucks. Don't ever come here. Okay, I kind of missed the orange and teal. That's funny. My intro kind of has the colors orange and teal. Bet you didn't catch that Easter egg. God, I'm so good at my fucking job. Today we're talking about a YouTube travel vlogger by the name of the Small-Brained American. So I guess it's safe to say he's pretty self-aware. Does that make his content better or worse? Well, I guess we'll leave that up to interpretation. I'm gonna say worse because that probably means he knows what he's doing. Now, what is he doing? Well, he's just traveling the world and giving his honest opinion on the places he's visiting. What's wrong with that? I mean, isn't that what Honest Abe died for? No, he died because he let his guard down. See, now I'm just being honest. And honestly, I didn't want to make another video about Western discrimination towards Indians because I don't want people to think I'm milking it. But then I saw this video on my homepage. India sucks. Don't ever come here. 3.7 million views. The most viewed video on Small-Brained American's YouTube channel. And it's basically just a video of Connor here describing his visit to one place in India. And he clearly is not having the best time. Now, that's okay. India isn't for everyone. But describing a place that you're visiting for the first time that is under less than fortunate circumstances, without context, information, or research of said place's history, to an audience of 3.7 million people is, dare I say it, racist. Whoa, woke buzzword. Now, he may not be portraying inherently racist values, but this is a level of ignorance that completely disregards an oppressed people's circumstance and can easily give way to uninformed racism. And because of your YouTube channel's name, we can infer that this is done intentionally, that you're aware of your ignorance and you're just playing into it. And people that maybe have not developed an opinion on India now will, based off of your impression. Or even the people that do share these beliefs about India's environment are given a reason to keep believing them. Now, if you're still not convinced there's anything wrong here, I'm gonna look at a few of these videos so I can properly explain myself. But first, a word from our sponsor. I'm a pretty young guy at the ripe age of 21. I just entered this world. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to manage my money. What, I can't just print more of it? I think it's about time I get on top of my expenses. Well, today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is here to help. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better. I have spending issues, or at least I think I do. I don't look at my bank account because it makes me anxious. But with Rocket Money, you can analyze your spending habits to create a custom budget that works with your lifestyle. Automatically monitor your spending by category and get notifications when you've exceeded your limits. You can also cancel unwanted subscriptions through the app. There are a lot of streaming services now, and it's hard to keep track of the ones that you're paying for. Rocket Money safely and securely identifies recurring charges and cancels unwanted subscriptions for you. You can even cancel from within the app with just a couple of taps. No need to worry about customer service calls. Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 a year, with over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. That's a lot. Take control of your finances today go to rocketmoney.com/Saji Sharma and get started for free. And thank you, Rocket Money, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the travel channel. Now, the small-brained American, or Connor, didn't just travel to India to talk shit. He had planned out a little travel excursion. One that started in Ireland and ended in Japan, stopping at bordering countries along the way. Before he even got to India, he explored places like Turkey, France, Ukraine, and Iraq. Now, at its most basic intention, I appreciate what Connor is trying to achieve with his content. Traveling to different countries, talking to locals, and taking in perspectives that people wouldn't really be able to see otherwise. I actually really enjoyed this one video in particular that took place in Iraq, where Connor was sitting with some locals, playing dominoes and drinking chai. He was asking one of the locals about his perspective on the Iraq War and how it had affected him and his loved ones, as well as how it had affected the locals' perspectives on Americans.
Can you tell me a little bit about the war? Like, how was it living here during the 2003 war?
Like the period from 2003 up until 2011, it was horrible. You can get killed for saying the wrong word in the wrong neighborhood.
Who would kill you?
Danger comes from all sorts of places.
It was a very genuine and enlightening conversation that you don't see from a lot of travel vloggers. This is someone who is really immersing themselves in another world, trying to understand this oppressive history, which is what made me even more confused when he went to India, because it was not at all the same sentiment. Connor's first video in India takes place in Delhi and is titled, "How Long Till I Get Food Poisoning?" Not long. Which is already a decently negative title and would have been fine if Connor actually had a negative experience. Because at least this title isn't a generally broad statement, it's pretty specific. But weirdly enough, this is a very positive video. He gets to India with a desire for spicy food and cold beer, and within 30 seconds he finds a street vendor with spicy food.
Yeah, some kind of onion, green chili sauce, and some kind of dough ball. Goddamn delicious. It only took us 30 seconds to find spicy food.
Goddamn delicious. Okay, starting off with a good experience. I wonder when the bad experience that's mentioned in the title happens. Oh look, he meets two locals and they introduce him to some more street food. Maybe it happens here?
Good, very tangy. It's tangy and spicy and delicious.
Okay, he loves that too. And what's that? They buy it for him?
Okay.
Two random people just bought you pani puri. Okay. All right, let's keep going. He goes to get dosa, loves it, not surprised. Locals take pictures with him. He meets more locals, has some banter, they ask questions, he asks them questions, they give him a smoke, and then they buy him chai. Wow. What an amazing first night in India. If I had to guess what the title of this video is called based on the events that took place, I would have guessed something like Indian locals buy me food, or the locals in India treat me like royalty. But no, instead this video is titled, "How Long Until I Get Food Poisoning in India?" And he never mentions actually getting food poisoning. He just talks about how it's a possibility.
We will continue to find the spiciest food possible, cheapest food possible, all while hopefully dodging salmonella or diphtheria or whatever the stomach bug's called.
But even if he did get it, that's his own fault. He's traveled to multiple countries already. He should know that you don't just walk into a third world country and eat everything in sight. And it's obvious this title is just clickbait anyway. I know how the algorithm works, okay? I've played the game long enough now. Using negative connotation and negative buzzwords just to rank higher in search because you're being controversial and honest. And hey, guess what? It worked. This video is his second most popular. People love it. They're happy someone is finally being truthful about places like India, instead of romanticizing it, which I personally have never seen before, but okay. And like I mentioned in the beginning, this provides a sort of dog whistle for people that already have negative beliefs about India in the first place. Love your honesty compared to 90% of other vloggers who will literally walk through trash and crap and say, "How beautiful is this place?" Did we watch the same video? Bro had a great time and was laughing with the locals for 90% of the video. Exactly my point. The next video doesn't have a negatively connotated title. However, in it, he just experiences more pure kindness and generosity from the Indian people. He stumbles into an Indian wedding anniversary and is literally offered cake and food by the wife. He then gets politely kicked out by the husband, which is understandable. He's crashing a party. After Connor's stay in Delhi, he travels to Pakistan, where he stays with a rich, elite, religious/political figure. So of course this experience is going to be a lot better than his stay in India. Also, quick sidebar, the political figure that Connor is staying with in Pakistan, Guftar, is just a little bit suspicious. Now, I don't know much about Islam or earning money ethically under Islam, but Guftar and his uncle, who is supposedly a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, earn their money by praying for the poor and naive locals. They're like celebrities in this area. I'm a Muslim. What was happening at Guftar's uncle's house is not at all a part of our religion. What they were doing was sinful and a way to earn money from the underprivileged, uneducated, and naive people. As a Pakistani, I thank you for exposing these people. They've been exploiting these poor people for generations. Again, I don't know a lot about this situation, and I don't think Connor does either. After all, he is just a small-brained American. But it looks a little slimy from the outside looking in, so I just wanted to point it out. Maybe someone can educate me in the comments. Now, after Pakistan, Connor goes back to India. And this is when the infamous India Sucks video is born. So Connor arrives in Varanasi, India's holiest city. And he's overwhelmed with pollution, constant horns from locals going to and from work, rickshaw drivers he's convinced are trying to rip him off, poverty-stricken families living in horrific conditions. Clearly, this is not the most pleasant experience. Yet still along the way, he manages to find the people of Varanasi welcoming him to their holy city. But I guess that doesn't matter, because only the bad parts are India, and not the kind-hearted people. So therefore, India sucks. In Connor's next video, titled India's Train Ride from Hell, he finds himself in the wrong cabin of a train, smushed among a massive herd of people. And yeah, this sucks. The pollution sucks. The living conditions suck. The trash sucks. The cows eating trash sucks. Even though we treat cows and farm animals insurmountably worse in the US. But anyway, going to a third world country like India and being honest about the experience hurts more than it helps. Because most of this information is already a presupposed belief inside Westerners' heads. Being dirty and smelly is an Indian stereotype. So you're not giving anyone new information, you're just affirming a preconceived bias. There are literally videos of street vendors who serve food in India that go viral just because of how gross people think it is. This is not much different than other street vendors in different third world countries serving food, like at all. But India has to catch flack because Indians are dirty. And that's why channels like The Small-Brained American are only fueling the fire. Rather than highlighting the beautiful people of India, he chose to diss the disgusting country they live in. And this isn't me saying India's conditions are not bad. This is me saying historical context is important. The why is really important. Because at the end of the day, this isn't really India's fault. And it certainly is not the people of India's fault. Unemployment, famine, poor sanitary conditions, lack of access to education and healthcare, caste-based oppression, religious violence, and gender-based violence are all part of the legacy of colonialism. In 40 years, between 1880 and 1920, British colonialism killed 100 million Indians. And according to research by economic historian Robert Allen, extreme poverty in India increased under British rule, from 23% in 1810 to more than 50% in the mid-20th century. Allen and other scholars argue that prior to colonialism, Indian living standards may have been on a par with the developing parts of Western Europe. So when you sum up your entire experience in India with a clickbaity and slanderous title, you're not just putting down the country and its history. You're putting down the people. And not the rich, wealthy Indian elites that hoard 77% of the country's wealth. You're putting down the people that excitedly greet you, beaming with pride that this American had decided to travel to their country, to their city, to their home. The ones that share their sacred spaces and beloved food with you, or provide you with reassurance that you're going to be fine in this new and dangerous situation. The ones that shave your beard with the finest, most prized blade that doesn't get pulled out very often, only to be regarded as unsanitary and overpriced. Their hospitality goes unnoticed. Because India sucks, don't ever go there, said the white man who was given the utmost respect by the people that get the least, the dark-toned, the lower caste, the people that aren't even regarded as people, share their culture with you. And what do they get in return? slander, a knife in the back. Even when Connor went to a different country, Myanmar, a country to the right of India, he was helped by one of the locals there. For the whole day, they showed him around and offered to buy him things. For the whole day. They even did drugs together. And Connor just ended up ditching him without paying because he was just convinced that this person was trying to scam him.
Well, guys, that's the last we're gonna see of Michael. He started to ask me for money for hanging out with him for the day.
Dude, of course this person wants to get paid. Have you seen their conditions, their living conditions? A small amount of money can definitely go a long way for this person. And I'm sure you give money to people all the time. All I'm saying is that it's not a good look to claim something is a scam, refuse to give money to children who are begging, at the same time as your Patreon donations show up on screen. Look, I don't think Connor is a bad person. I don't think he has bad intentions. I guess I'm just realizing that I don't think there is that much of a difference between the orange and teal vloggers and the honest vloggers. I get it, alright? You both need to make money, oversaturate your pictures, add that controversial title. Go make your money. Hey, not much different than the scammers now, are we? At least their excuse is they need to live. These are parts of the world that have experienced an immense amount of pain and suffering, which is why empathy and sympathy are so important. And sure, Connor was kind to these people. He talked to them, and that's great. The most recurring themes in his India vlogs were his overwhelmingly positive experiences with the food and with the people. If he would have expressed that sentiment in his title and his thumbnails, I guarantee you it would have made a very important impact, especially considering the views that he gets. Anthony Bourdain is the perfect example of a privileged foreigner stepping into underprivileged and marginalized spaces, but knowing how to navigate it with respect and care. He didn't look down on foreign places he visited and their quaintness / backwardness / insert usual derogatory adjective. Journalist Rania Abuzaid tweeted, "He dived in, hungry to experience. His wasn't the Orientalist gaze. He saw humanity and food everywhere and connected with it." Anthony Bourdain will always be a very special person to me because he embodied pure, good-natured curiosity. Curiosity that did not step on the toes of the community he was experiencing, but rather a curiosity that was willing to accept and understand drastically different experiences. You guys know that Bourdain went to Palestine? Fun fact. He bluntly criticized the treatment of the Palestinian people at a time where nobody was really doing it, and it was way more controversial than it is now. He went to Gaza to understand. He spoke a truth that a lot of people are too afraid to speak today.
The world has visited many terrible things on the Palestinian people, none more shameful than robbing them of their basic humanity. People are not statistics. That is all we attempted to show.
Now, personally, that's the kind of honest travel experience I want to see. One that has empathetic intention and careful deliberation. Not one that is slandering a country and its people, all because the algorithm might pick it up. This video isn't just about India. It's about the people that belong to countries and homes that are painted as unusual or outlandish by videos on the internet or news outlets. Culture is a beautiful thing, and imperialism and colonialism have stained too many of them. So it's impertinent that we celebrate them in the ways that matter. I want to end the video with an Anthony Bourdain quote. "Travel isn't always pretty. It isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts. It even breaks your heart. But that's okay. The journey changes you. It should change you. It leaves marks on your memory, on your consciousness, on your heart, and on your body. You should take something with you. Hopefully, you leave something good behind." Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.